It could be that easy for you to let it go, for you to allow yourself to expose yourself to the truth of knowing that you too have done something not worth forgiving until you got to a place of vulnerability. Meaning you were transparent with yourself long enough in the mirror to actually look yourself in the eyes and comply with the fact that you were not bigger or better than the ones who have shortcome to you, to understand that their trespasses were not to beseech you, but more so for them to fall through, because we are not perfect. And as the freedom comes of music, we know that poetry can set us free too, but in the essence of knowing that sometimes we go through a lot. And this whole point of us knowing that sometimes it's exhausting because we think that we're supposed to keep them on pedestals. Never would they ever disappoint us. We think that there's no reason why we should ever keep them on level grounds. We find ourselves expecting too much, finding ourselves disappointed from them not reaching the goals that we have set, that we don't reach our own bars. Is it not the sense of us trying to drown ourselves in the glasses that we keep filled to the brim because we think that our lives are too grim to be able to face sober? To understand what it's like to know that even when we have our times washed over, these suicidal moments that we've allowed ourselves to die to self, we understand that there's such context in the content of what we've been shelving in our thoughts. Those books we refuse to read, but we continue to write. Your diaries are full with all the things that you can't sleep at night from. And you don't understand what it's like to come to a place to be able to know that when you take that deep breath, and you slowly exhale, it's just the first step of getting to a place of forgiveness. To think about when your 6-year-old self was first inflicted, when you understood that sometimes your heroes will fall from grace if you don't have them in the same space that you dwell in, if you can't rise to the occasion and understand that sometimes it's more difficult to accept the fact that you were disappointed. The second step is acknowledging that you too have maybe failed someone else's expectations, to then make it seem to make sense, to understand that some things just don't have relevance until you have now been put in position to realize that some things are worth forgiving. The third step is to write it down. Literally, you don't always get the opportunity to tell your culprit or the antagonist for your fairy tale what they did, how it felt, or what the process would be like. But if you write down all of the elements you have now exposed them to pages, you can close that book and put it away, and then take another deep breath. Find yourself. It's not so easy to do if you don't do it too, so I can't preach to you what I haven't tried myself. Literally on Saturday, I sat in front of my mirror for 15 minutes. It took me about 10 before I could look in my eyes and realize that the tears had already been coming, because I have been swarming in the pool of wonder, thinking I had to put somebody else on the shelf and have a back burner place for me because they would never put me in the process of understanding that I should have been prioritized too, as I had done them. And we find ourselves not doing the same, and we don't realize how we can this game. But the whole point of you understanding what happens when you allow yourself to get to a space to realize that Amber Cloud came in this space. It's a beautiful thing how forgiveness works. How we allow ourselves to understand the worth of release. To know that that heavy burden on your chest is not for you to keep. To understand that sometimes it's just a part of life. The plight of it is more so the excellence of knowing that even when you're allowing yourself to hold the grudges, you think about that moment where your body starts to tense and you don't feel any of the shift. And you're not able to transition, so when they become some type of way that has nothing to do with the reflection that you have given them, you realize that they don't even fit in that position. It's just, you keep them where they were. But what sense does that make if you grow and want somebody to see you where you are in the second place, at the whole point of you being able to come into yourself, right? 1, 2, 3, take a deep breath in. Let it go.